Mr. President.
Come on. Welcome back.
President, distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, I want to think that what is before us here now is whether we should convoke the National Security Summit. And Mr. President, if you ask me, I would say the answer is yes. Because, Mr. President, security is everybody's business. And these security challenges occur in various parts of Nigeria in various dimensions. It has become increasingly compelling, therefore, Mr. President, that in providing security solutions to our security challenges, there is no one-size-fits-all. And so, every day you read in the social media, senators are held responsible for insecurity in their various domains. Some out of lack of understanding, some out of mischief. Governors are held responsible, Mr. President is held responsible, yet every day we find activities within the Senate here challenging the challenges of insecurity. And so, Mr. President, that we have provided solutions in the past and they have not worked or they have not been implemented will not stop us from providing solutions. On several occasions in this Senate, in the 9th and 10th, solutions have been profiled, resolutions have been passed here on the need to rejig our security architecture. And so, now that we are confronted with this hydra-headed insecurity, because in my constituency, Mr. President, almost every day, almost on a daily basis, buses are seized, drivers are killed, especially in Otukpo, and passengers are abducted, or they walk into somebody's house, retired immigration officer's house, and kill him. So now, it's becoming very scary that even in your homes, within my constituency now, by 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you must lock up your place. And so, sir, I think that now that we have attempted various forms in terms of solutions, and they have not given the desired results, there is nothing that stops us from continuing to explore all means of bringing this insecurity to a halt. And I think that a conference, a summit, where all Nigerians that have interest, all Nigerians that know how, will come and offer their own expertise and knowledge, will be an appropriate thing for this Senate to do now, at least for the image of the Senate. Let us do what we are expected to do. Convoke a summit, profile solutions, give these solutions to the executive by way of resolution of the Senate, by the executive. I think that way we'll be moving towards finding solution to the problems of insecurity in our country. Thank you, Mr. President.
So is representing Kano South Senatorial District. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, it is in respect of the recent Uromi's Edo State killings of my constituents and government response, federal, state, Edo and Kano, and of course the remaining stakeholders, where 16 people were killed. This is the matter, sir.
Thank you. Let me.
Again, I am Suleiman Abdurrahman Kau Sumaila, OFR, representing Kano South Senatorial District from Kano. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, my motion is in respect of the Oromi killings, Edo State, and the government response. The Senate notes that on March 27, 2025, the town of Uroni in Edo State, Nigeria, was the scene of a gruesome mob attack in which 16 travelers, reportedly of northern region, who mostly from Kano State, Kano South Senatorial District indigenous, were brutally murdered and some set ablaze by local vigilantes. The victims were intercepted by members of an illegal security group who, often allegedly discovering locally made weapons in their vehicle, incited a mob that carried out the killing without recourse to local investigation or due process. Further note that the incident, widely condemned across the country,
No.
Assailant acting without any lawful authority or oversight, intercepted the victims, accused them of being kidnappers, and executed them publicly without investigation, trial, or evidence. Actions that only constitute a gross violation of the victim's constitutional right to life, but also represent a dangerous erosion of the rule of law and chilling escalation in the misuse of self-styled security groups across the country. Further disturbs that the brutal murder of this innocent individual has rendered hundreds of children orphan, many of whom have now been forced out of school due to the sudden and premature loss of their parents. The primary breadwinners of their families. If urgent intervention is not taken, there is real danger that our vulnerable children may resort to straight begging for survival, while female children in particular risk being exposed to exploitation, abuse, and involvement in negative social practice, thereby confounding the cycle of poverty, trauma, and social instability within affected communities. What is that the extrajudicial violence not only violates the fundamental right of the life guaranteed under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but also reflects a dangerous breakdown in law and order. The increasing resort to mob justice and the unchecked operations of unregulated vigilant groups whose grave threat to national unity, public safety, and rule of law. Further worried that of equal concern is ethnic profiling associated with this incident, which is left unaddressed, could fuel intercommunal tension and threaten Nigerian fragile social cohesion. These killings, carried out without local investigation or trial, constitute an approach to justice and a stain of our collective conscience as a nation. Concern that the proliferation of arms among local hunters and vigilant groups, many of whom operate without proper registration, licensing, or oversight, has contributed to the rise in extrajudicial killing and unlawful use of force in rural communities. As tragically demonstrated in Oromi incident, the lack of regulated framework for community security has created an environment where self-styled enforcers carry weapons without accountability, thereby posing a serious threat to public safety and national cohesion. Also concerned that the persistent neglect of socio-economic needs of grassroots communities continue. Further concerned that the persistent neglect of socio-economic needs of grassroots communities continue to fuel prostration, insecurity, and rural-urban migration, as many young people flee hardship in search of better opportunities, leaving their villages depopulated and vulnerable to crime, poverty, and social disintegration. There is therefore an urgent need for government at all levels to invest in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and economic empowerment in rural areas to promote local government autonomy and the inclusive development and stability. Then the phrase, commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his swift directive to security agencies to thoroughly investigate the Urumi killings and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice. Commend the Governor of Edo, His Excellency Monday, for decisively disbanding the illegal vigilant groups implicated in the killing and constituting a fact-finding committee to prove the incident, and as well as Governor of Kano State, His Excellency Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, for his proactive effort in promoting peace and showing solidarity with the families of the victim. Encourage the Governor of Edo to expedite the ongoing investigation, ensure the prosecution of those found culpable, and facilitate prompt payment of adequate compensation for the brave families. Call on the Senate to observe a minute's silence in solemn honor to victims of this senseless and tragic act of violence. Further call on the relevant committees on the national security and intelligence, police affairs, and human rights to monitor the responses of the government and security agencies to this incident. Recommend appropriate legislative measures to regulate and proportionalize the operation of community security output and vigilant groups across the country. Propose reforms aimed at strengthening law enforcement accountability and curbing extrajudicial action all over Nigeria. Call on the National Assembly to prioritize and advance legislation promoting local government autonomy, recognizing the empowerment and well-resources local government are essential for rural development, grassroots security, and reducing the persistent trend of rural-urban migration. Then finally, mandate the clerk of the Senate to formally transmit this resolution to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Governor of Edo, and of course, Governor of Kano State, and all relevant government agencies for immediate implementation. I so submit, Mr. President, and my dear respected, distinguished, honorable colleague.
Barrow Jibrin, Kano North. I stand to second this motion, ably moved by Senator Kawu Sumaila, President Kano South, where the victims of that judicial killing came from. Mr. President, this incident happened when we are on recess. It was a very, very sad incident where 16 law-abiding people were killed for no fault of theirs, but the fact that they were hunters. When it happened, there was a national outrage by all and sundry, cutting across the entire segments of this country. everybody from the south to the west, from the Muslim to the Christian, from Igbos, Ibibios, Efik, Anang, Yoruba, everybody was really worried that that could have taken place in this era, in this time of national development. But then we took solace on the quick response of the federal government, of the Edo State government, of the Senate, and of course, of the Kano State government. Everybody went to start working to make sure that more of this kind of thing did not happen. On the side of Edo State government, we have to commend the state government because it opened that window of discussion, of interaction, because the Senate represented by me went into action by calling the governor and were, interfacing, talking, on how to deal with the matter, on how to make sure that the matter did not escalate. Also, the governor took time to visit all that were involved, went to Kano State, came to the Senate through me to discuss the matter. And in fact, everybody, all Nigerians were worried. But what is important here is that we should make sure that those who did that heinous act should be identified and brought to justice, so that should serve as deterrent to those who might want to do that in the future. And this is where the governor of Edo State should be commended, because he was at the forefront, working with the police and all the security agencies to apprehend those who committed that heinous crime. In fact, that cooled down tension all over the country. Mr. President, for those who don't know, these hunters are traditional hunters, professional hunters. We have them all over the northern part of the country, and they move from place to place, to hunt. And once they are able to get animals, they will bring them to the market and sell. And it was on that premise that they went to where they went to hunt. And when they were coming back, they were mistaken for kidnappers. And instead of when they were arrested, the vigilantes should have taken them to the police. It happened sometime. This kind of thing happened in Ondo. The Amotekun force caught, hunters from northern Nigeria. But they took them to the police, interrogated them. In fact, I had to even talk to them that, look, they are not kidnappers, they were hunters. And they were released after confirming that to be true. So this is what the vigilante in Edo did not do. If they had done so, they would have discovered that these people were not criminals. Mr. President, I think there's the need. I think there's a bill before us which is intended to regulate the affairs of hunters. You have hunters in every part of the world. You have hunters. So I think there's a need we pass that bill so that we can regulate their affairs. If you are moving from one state to the other state to hunt, there should be an arrangement where you'll be identified, where the host of where you are going to, the host will know that you are a hunter coming from another state, so that this kind of mistake will not occur again. And I want to urge, whenever there's anything, whenever there's you feel that somebody is a criminal, do not take the law into your hands. Take the matter to the police to investigate and follow due process of apprehension and then, of course, prosecution. Mr. President, I want to comment because I spoke to you as well. I told you, and you said continue on behalf of the Senate. Do all you are doing on behalf of the Senate. I commend you also for showing concern, Mr. President. Mr. President, I so submit.
Mr. President, earlier on, deferred my motion. I had a motion too. I came and told you that I deferred my motion for cows to go because of its national outlook. That is one. Two, sir, I would like to commend Senator Kawu Sumaila for moving this wonderful patriotic motion, because this is a matter of concern, not only for our people that were in Kano that were killed, but to all Nigerians. Mr. President, this motion speaks volumes. 6 volumes. It is giving a lesson to us, the representative of the grassroots, for us to always enlighten our people, not until an incident happens. We have to enlighten our people of these kind of things, Because, Mr. President, like what the Deputy Senate President rightly said, he worked hard, Kau worked hard to make sure that tensions are slowed down, because people were agitating that, okay, let us take revenge. Now, if we allow that to start, we did our best. If we allowed that to start, we don't know where we are now, because people will go and rampage, especially in our, rural areas, in our areas, people, how they are, So we enlighten people, we talk to people, not only on this. This is what the lesson, what this motion is giving us. Not only do something about it, go and pay them compensation, this and that, but we have to enlighten our people. We have to go down to the grassroots to make sure that there is peace in this country. There is peace and oneness in this country. We are brothers keepers. We are brothers and sisters in this country. We are one Nigeria, and we have to make sure we talk to our people right from the grassroots, because there are certain levels of areas where, the perception and understanding is not like everywhere. So, Mr. President, I commend my brother, my son, Abraham Kau Sumaila, OFR, PhD, etc., with this very wonderful motion. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thanks.
Distinguished colleagues, I think I must agree with Senator Hanga and the way the leaders of Kano State handled this matter has saved the country from further tears. And this was a very unfortunate incident, maybe a case of mistaken identity, but it shows the state of apprehension in the country. Immediately you see somebody with arm, you imagine that a person is a criminal, even if it's a den gun. And then the people who took laws into their hands were condemned by all and sundry across the nation. If you, the leaders, did not move promptly, including the president and the commander-in-chief, and also the governor of Edo State, we would have had more tears in the country. And then it would have brought about ethnic division and suspicion and possible killings. So it is good that the Senate is discussing the issue and looking at ways of ensuring that this kind of unfortunate incident does not occur again in the future. It's on that note that I commend distinguished Senator Kau for bringing this to the floor of the Nigerian Senate for our records. It's another wake-up call. Like the Deputy Senate President said, we must put necessary legislation in place so that hunting in the country can be done as a way of business to avoid suspicion, to avoid mistaken identity, and to avoid these kind of killings. The federal government has done what it should, condemn the incident and urge the Edo State government to rise to the occasion. Edo State government did not only take action in collaboration with the police and other security agencies to apprehend the killers, but they went also to calm the nerves of the families. They traveled to Kano and then met with the governor of Kano and stakeholders and went to meet with some of the family members. So Nigeria is changing, because in the past this would have turned into a major boiling point, and now we are talking, we probably will be running from one community to the other. And then the peace, the cohesion, and the stability of the nation will have been totally distorted. So the distinguished Deputy Senate President, I'll be glad to see a proposed act of parliament, a proposed bill that will regulate the hunting exercise in Nigeria. Particularly that where hunters move from maybe Jigawa all the way to Sokoto, we should have means of identifying them. Maybe in the acts we can propose that when they move from one state to the other, they should report at the nearest police station. And then the police would register them and probably give them means of identification, so that if they are apprehended by vigilante or by even the police itself or the army at the checkpoint, once they show that identification, then they will be allowed to go. And so that we can avoid this kind of unfortunate incident in future. But that it was brought under control is to the credit of mankind and the grace of Almighty Allah. Otherwise, everybody was apprehensive. Innocent lives would have been lost for nothing. So let's go into the prayers, and then we commend those who took part in bringing this issue to an end. Prayer 1. Commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his swift directive to security agencies to thoroughly investigate the Uromi killings and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice immediately. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Commend the Governor of Edo State, distinguished Senator Monday Okpewolo, for decisively disbanding the illegal vigilante groups implicated in the killings and immediately constituting a fact-finding committee to ensure the arrests and the investigation of the incident, and also commend the Governor of Kano State for moving immediately to enlighten the people and call the isolated incident for what it is, criminality by a few that should not affect the whole of Kano State and other places. We should also commend His Excellency Abba Karbe Yusuf for his proactive efforts in promoting peace in this country, showing solidarity with the families of the victims. Those in support of prayer 2 as couch say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, encourage the Governor of Edo State to expedite action in the ongoing investigations with a view to bringing the culprits to justice and to facilitate the prompt payment of adequate compensation to the bereaved families. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, call on the Senate to observe a minute silence in solemn honor of the victims of this senseless and tragic violence. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We are on prayer 5. Prayer 5, further call on the relevant state Senate committees on national security and intelligence, police affairs and human rights to A, monitor the responses of government and security agencies to the incidents, B, recommend appropriate legislative measures to regulate and professionalize the operations of community security outfits and vigilantes across the country. C, propose reforms aimed at strengthening law enforcement accountability and curbing extrajudicial actions. Those in support of prayer 5, A, B, and C as couch say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 6, call on the National Assembly to prioritize and advance legislation promoting local government autonomy, recognizing that empowered and well-resourced local governments are essential for rural development, grassroots security, reducing the persistent trend of rural-urban migration. Those in support of prayer 6 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 7, mandate the clerk of the Senate to formally transmit these resolutions to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the governors of Edo and Kano states, and all relevant government agencies for immediate implementation. Those in support of prayer 7 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
And distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Titus Tatangizam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Mr. President, I want to thank you for allowing God to touch your eyes to see me. Because if there's anybody in these hallowed chambers that is badly affected by the security challenge this country is going through, I think I am the one. That is why I co-sponsored this motion. Your Excellency, sir, I come from a local government area that has 15 council wards. As I speak to you, all the 13 council wards have been overrun by banditry. And the new style now is that they are no longer hoisting flags. They will take over your land, occupy your compound. They are no longer destroying schools, no longer destroying markets. They are living inside those facilities. As I talk to you, I am not even sure the president is aware of the enormity of the problems confronting Benue State and other states in the north-central Nigeria in particular. So, sir, this is a very serious matter. Time was when these people were hosting flags to establish themselves openly for the federal government to know that there was a challenge. They have now changed tactics. They have taken over most of states in the north central. And their peers among leaders of these sub-national units, they're not talking, either for fear of being accused of not fighting hard or for whatever purpose. So this security summit is very essential. It's very, very essential. So that we will speak. I want to associate myself with the submission made by Senator Abba Moro, that as a Senate, let us come out and tell the world that this is our own position. Let us make recommendations. If there is failure on the part of any other organ of government, let the failure be established on that part of the government. But as a Senate, we owe our people a duty to speak out, to recommend solutions, and then allow the executive to implement or not, so that we will not be completely condemned alongside with any other person who is supposed to play their own rules. So I wholeheartedly submit that there is need for the national summit to take place, and the Senate should drive it. That is our job as the representatives of the people. We should be seen as not just talking, but doing the needful. So I support the convocation of national summit. Thank you, sir.
It's my name. I represent KB Central. Mr. President, there is nothing we have not discussed here in this Senate, particularly the 8th Senate and the 9th Senate, where we had security summit. In fact, if I could recall vividly, we had 3 security summits in this Senate, and we made very far-reaching recommendations to the executive branch. And those recommendations, unfortunately, were not implemented. Mr. President, what we need is not security summit. We need to discuss with the service chiefs here in this chamber, one by one. We engage them into serious discussions. We tell them the emerging development, particularly the Lakurawa that is invading northwestern part of Nigeria, and also they are invading north central part of Nigeria. Just of recent, there is a new development, a new security threat, a new armed group called Bamuda. They are invading Niger and Kwara states, and very soon they'll reach Oyo State. So, Mr. President, we need to discuss with the service chiefs. There is nothing we have not discussed at the Security Summit. If they come, let them tell us the strategies they are using to overcome these security threats. I don't believe that having Security Summit is the answer. Else, what we did in the past, what happened? all the recommendations are there and they are not implemented. So I'm of the opinion that we should call the Inspector General of Police, we should call the National Security Advisor, we should call the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Air Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, the Chief of Defense Staff, and we sit with them here and discuss thoroughly. And we hear from them the solutions they'll come up with. And Mr. President, we shouldn't even talk about, taking only kinetic measures. There are non-kinetic measures that need to be taken on the part of the federal government and the state government. Virtually everything is now loaded on the federal government. When it comes to non-kinetic measures, state governments have a responsibility. Local government have a responsibility. It is by so doing that we will be able to overcome the security challenges in this country.
Security summit or a security retreat. It is, and then Senator Ningi has raised a vital issue, which is, are we interrogating the chairman of our various security committees in the Senate? Chairman of Defense, Chairman of Navy, Chairman of Army, Chairman of National Security, Chairman of Air Force, and all. Are we even interrogating them? That's the question. And that the Senate leader ought to periodically compile the workings of the various committees and report back to the Senate. But that has not been done because he is probably yet to have a meeting with all the Senate committee chairmen. And then he should be able to get written reports from them and communicate them to us. We don't need to discuss it in plenary. We can do so in closed session. So, but the question we need to answer now is that in view of the escalating insecurity in the country, which sometimes may be politically motivated, sometimes may be as a result of movement of farmers or headers here and there, and sometimes maybe as a result of terrorism and intentional acts of sabotage of the government or a direct attack on Nigerians from our enemies, from foreign countries. So should we convene a 2-day or a 3-day security retreat where we will sit down, invite major stakeholders, including the traditional institutions, including people who are experts in other fields, then including even the state governors and practitioners in the security sector, so that we can compile something and come out with a communique that will help Nigeria moving forward. Senator Baribe.
I want to say just two things. Number one, do we want to really be true to ourselves? And do we really want to be true to our calling here as senators? And the reason why I ask that is very simple, Mr. President. I have been here for a very long time. And for each session I've been here, we have had security summits. Each session. In fact, the last one, we were part of setting it up, and then we did everything. At the end of the day, nothing came out of it. So, there is no one of us here who does not know what is going on in his area. Do we want to be true and fair and say the truth about what is happening in this country? If we want to be true to ourselves, then we can go ahead with a summit, then we can deal with this matter. But if we're just going to stand up here to now make statements so that people will see us on television, then I want to profound, Mr. President, that we will just end up doing exactly what we have been doing, make statements, and nothing will come out of it. I so submit.
And some had to represent the Senate. And I must particularly thank the Deputy Senate President that in my absence, he visited my hometown with a retinue of senators, not just to represent the Senate, but also to represent me at the Police Service Commission retreat that took place at the Sheraton Hotel in my town. DSP, we salute you, we admire you, and we thank you for your continuous service to your fatherland. I want to welcome all of us back to this hallowed chamber. We have seen slight improvement, but we have also noticed some lapses. Slight improvement in terms of ICT, but the most noticeable lapse will be in terms of the air conditioning system. So we want to urge the contractor, I understand we have not taken over the chambers fully, to do its best to make sure that the chillers are new and not to use refurbished chillers that will keep the Senate like an oven. So for now, we just observe it, but we'll work on it. Let me also mention that there is need for us to have a committee, just like the House of Representatives has done, the leader of the Senate, to oversight the functions of the administrator of Rivers State and the Rivers State government under emergency rule. So the chairman of that committee will be Sir Distinguished Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, the Senate leader, and the deputy chairman will be Distinguished Senator Rufai Hanga, our deputy minority whip, and we'll have the Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Lamido of the PDP. Is it? That's not correct. We don't have such a name. But what is here is PDP. So all the other committee members, the Senate leader will communicate the message to all of them, those who are members of that committee. So if I read now, I will make another mistake. Because I should read? Okay, so I'll leave the party then, because I believe we are all in one party. You are saying the party is important. Then why did you write PDP? Okay, so that mistake from the Senate leader is hereby corrected. Okay, so the distinguished Senator Adamu Alero, PDP Kebbi. Distinguished Senator Osita Izunaso, APC Imo. Distinguished Senator Osita Ngu, PDP Southeast, the only surviving PDP in Southeast. So, Distinguished Senator Kaka Shehu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Distinguished Senator Elia Aminu Abbas, PDP Adamawa. Distinguished Senator Tokumbo Abiru, APC Lagos. Distinguished Senator Adeniyi Adegbomire, Chairman Judiciary, APC Ondo. Distinguished Senator Mohamed Sani Musa, APC Niger. Distinguished Senator Simon Lalong, APC Plateau. Distinguished Senator Asukwa Ikpeong, APC Cross River. Distinguished Senator Adams Aliu Oshimole, APC Edo. And Distinguished Senator Ireti Kingibe, Labour Party, FCT. Distinguished Senator Onyekachi Nwebonyi, APC Ebonyi State, and Distinguished Senator Idiat Adebule, APC Lagos State. Distinguished Senator Ide Dafinone, APC Delta. Distinguished Senator Mohammed Maiduri, APC Jigawa, and the clerk or secretary of the committee will be Mr. Charles Bala Luri. Charles Bala Luri. So if they need to review, it will be after further consultation with our colleagues. But in the meantime, they have to get to work immediately. So let me welcome all of us back to this hallowed chamber after what has been a spiritually enriching and reflective recess marked by the observance of the Easter and the Eid al-Fitr. These sacred seasons, Christianity's celebration of the sacrifice and resurrection, and Islam's culmination of fasting, prayer, and charity, are not merely religious milestones. They are moral mirrors and national metaphors. They remind us of the virtues this country so desperately needs: sacrifice, discipline, patience, unity, and the courage to rise from any adversity. They remind us of the fact that, yes, indeed, whatever we do, we must think more of moving the country forward instead of moving our pockets forward. So let those lessons not remain in the churches and the mosques that we all attended. Let them walk with us into this chamber. Let them speak through our debates. Let them shine in the quality of the laws that we make. Let the burdens on our shoulders, though enormous, be lightened through our unity of purpose. Because no season can better prepare our souls to carry the burdens of this country than the ones we have just passed through. So, distinguished senators, much has transpired in our dear country whilst we were away from the plenary. Our economy continues to stretch the patience and resilience of our people. The rising cost of living, a little bit of increased instability in the energy sector, and the persisting insecurity in parts of the nation. All these demand not just attention, but legislative actions. Legislative actions to support the great work, the executive arm of the government, led by our President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Commander-in-Chief and President, is doing to fix the myriad of challenges which besiege the entire nation. In the Southeast and Northwest, communities still battle criminality and terrorism. In the North Central, farmers and herders still seek protection and justice. In the South-South, the questions of environmental equity and resource fairness remain unresolved. These are not just news headlines. They are the bleeding wounds of our republic today. Our people look to us not for rhetorics, but for rescue. But I believe strongly that there is no river we cannot cross if we put our trust in God and faith in the people who gave us the opportunity to be here. Let us put our faith in God, for He has ordained us to lead us in this hallowed chamber. Both the executive and legislative arms of government must work collaboratively to overcome the myriad of problems. In the media, during our recess, the reform of our electoral and judicial systems and the role of the legislature in sustaining democracy were the highlights. These are not idle conversations. They are the heartbeat of our democratic future. Therefore, let us rise up and meet these expectations in the next few weeks. My distinguished colleagues, let us make no mistake. We are under watch by our constituents. The people are watching. The world is watching the country, Nigeria. Our constituents are also watching very curiously. And history, silent but unsleeping, is also watching us. No test must find us wanting. No challenge must catch us unprepared. Let every vote we cast, every motion we raise, and every oversight we conduct bear the footprints of integrity and patriotism. The task ahead of us this season is as solemn as it is historic. We'll be examining bills critical and national stability must be on the watch. On security reform, economic resilience, education, technology, and youth empowerment, our committees will delve into oversight functions that could unlock the performance potentials of many of the MDS. Let us carry our duties with the spirit of statesmanship, not partisanship. Let us elevate debate over division. Let us govern with grace and bear no grudge. To the Nigerian people, I say this: your Senate is back at work at the plenary. And we have not forgotten your hopes, nor have we forgotten any hardship that you may be facing. Any hunger that may torment your family, any change that you may be yearning for. We are here refreshed in spirit and renewed in resolve to build a nation where peace, justice will reign, and not just mere illusions. We are here to build a nation where progress is not a promise, but a pattern. So help us God. I thank you and I welcome you back to our usual work. May the Lord bless the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, an additional prayer has been moved by the DSP and seconded by the Chief Whip of the Nigerian Senate. Those in support of the additional prayer, that we should proceed to bring a bill, expedite action on it, to regulate the activities of vigilantes and hunters across Nigeria with a view to curbing future reoccurrence of this ugly incident. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So I thank all of you for your contributions, and I pray that the souls of the departed will rest in peace, and also that the Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance should also get involved to see to the discussion with the Edo State government with a view to ensuring compensation to the bereaved families so the children will not turn to destitutes, and at least it will be in a position to bring about a bit of succor to this very ugly chapter of our national life. May we rise to observe 1 minute silence in honor of the departed.